What is good? What y'all, WJ gang? Back again with another reaction for y'all. As I can see by the title, we finna be reacting to the worst place in the world to travel. We don't know much about this video, just seen it down my timeline, and I want to drop a reactions for y'all. And as y'all can see, man, same clothing, man. That mean I'm recording these reactions the same day and to get them ready to post for y'all, you feel me? I've been trying to be as much consistent as I can be for y'all. As I can tell, man, I've been trying to push these reactions, and I'm really trying to see if y'all messing with the reactions. Y'all let me know in the comment down below, so I can keep dropping more reactions for y'all, man. So y'all hit that subscribe button, share the video, and tune in, man. Now make sure y'all watch the whole video too, because I know some of y'all probably don't watch the whole videos, but these videos do be entertaining if y'all do make it to the end. So check it out.
There are places in this world that you will probably never see. Sometimes that's a good thing.
Hey, man, like North Korea. If y'all see my last reaction, bro, yeah, like North Korea. We'll never step foot in North Korea. Ever.
Controlled by insane dictators who will detain you just for straying from your tour group. Other places are so remote that you practically have to swim across an entire ocean to get there. One island.
First of all, I'm not swimming across nothing. I don't gonna lie, bro. I'm from the islands, but one thing my peoples failed to do was to put me in swimming class or teach me how to swim. Cause I'm from the islands, I don't even know how to swim. So I feel like, where was the lack of tolerance came from of not teaching me how to swim? If that makes sense, y'all. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but technically what I'm trying to say is that I don't know how to swim, and I'm not swimming across to no other island just to get to my tourist spot. No.
So hard to reach that the native people who live on it may be one of the last uncontacted cultures in the entire world. Unfortunately, if you try to visit their island, it's very unlikely that you will make it off alive. Just as a disclaimer, the passport you hold determines the degree of difficulty to which you'll face when traveling to different parts of the world. For example, people with a Japanese or Singaporean passport tend to have a much easier time securing visas than most other countries. If you're a United States passport holder, you might have a more difficult time entering some countries like North Korea, Iran.
Look at that. I was just speaking on that, bro. I was just speaking on that because if y'all didn't see my last reaction yet, I did a reaction to North Korea. So y'all go check it out, man. It might be in the link down below, so y'all definitely click that reaction. But I just did a reaction to it, and it was saying how you can't leave North Korea nor enter, bro. Because they will kill you on the spot or they will lock you up. And that's messed up, bro. That's really messed up.
Turkmenistan, then someone with a Chinese or Russian passport. Sometimes you need to be invited to certain countries, and other times your own government might not let you travel to a certain region. Traveling to Russia for a vacation from the US or any European country right now is all but impossible due to the current conflict. Flights into Russia from around the world have all but come to a stop because of the war. Surprisingly, Russia is not the most challenging place to travel to, even in the current political climate. But what could be more difficult than entering a country that's waging war and being boycotted by nations around the world? Let's find out. Turkmenistan was formerly a part of the Soviet Union, yet if you try to travel there today, it might seem that Turkmenistan government missed the memo that the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. The hardest part about traveling to this country is that you require an official government invite. You can't just decide you'll travel to Turkmenistan.
Exactly, bro. And I don't need no invitation. You don't know what them boys about to do once you touch down over there, bro. Like, the minute they invite you, oh yeah, come over here, come over here. And trying to find out, y'all, in the last video, some dude got locked up in North Korea just because the hotel he was staying in while visiting, he took a poster or something, and he got locked up. And then he turned out to kill himself. Like, come on, bro, that's messed up. Imagine you just visiting a country just to like get the experience of being in other countries and see how it's like, just for, you know, some content or whatever, right? And you get hit with a, yeah, you can't leave back to your country, and now you're getting locked up for trial because of something they found in your bag. That's a poster. That's messed up.
If you get off a plane without an official invite, you'll be immediately sent home, or worse, detained for questioning. On top of the craziness that's required to secure an official invitation to visit the country, once you're there, you need to be accompanied by a state-approved tour guide. The marble architecture of Ashgabat, the capital of Turkmenistan, is supposed to be stunning. But even if you manage to get into the country, it's unlikely you'll see anything that the government doesn't want you to. This makes traveling around Turkmenistan extremely difficult. You get an eerie feeling that you're always being watched, which is probably because you are. Although the Soviet Union may have collapsed, the Turkmenistan government still follows its footsteps by ruling with an iron fist. This next country is difficult to travel to, but for all the right reasons. Bhutan is landlocked between China and India. The country itself lies in the Himalayan mountains, and the only way travelers can enter is by taking a terrifying flight through the mountains. In order to land, the pilot has to quickly drop in altitude, as there's not much room to work with. The airport is over 7,000 feet above sea level, which is nothing compared to the 16,000-foot peaks that surround it. All pilots who fly the route are specially trained for the flight into Bhutan, as it's unlike anywhere else in the entire world. Only a handful of people successfully pass the test and are allowed to fly passengers into the country. But it's not the dangerous flight that makes Bhutan so difficult to travel to. It's the strict regulations the government places on tourism to protect the country's pristine environment. You must purchase a prepaid tour package that the government has approved to visit the country. The bad news is these tours are not cheap, and the Bhutan government does not care. Their stance is that they would rather have less tourism coming in and keep the environment protected than allow more people to visit just to make more profit. There's also a fee of around $200.
Okay, I guess that's good, because when you think about it, bro, you never know who's coming into your country and what they coming in to do. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm not paying 20 bands, 30 bands, 40 bands. Damn, I don't know how much they're charging, but that's what I'm thinking they would charge, like, for tours, for one tour, you feel me? And it's like, I'm not paying all that money just for y'all to be like, no, after I pay all that money, I can't even see what I want to see, like, you feel me? And which the government saying that they don't want to let people in for the safety of their citizen, which is understandable, but I don't think nobody would want to go there anyway, my guy. Which is the first step, is to land. And if I can't land, if I can't feel safe where I'm going, bro, you feel me? If I can't feel safe, I ain't going there. So I feel like a lot of people wouldn't even want to go there in the first place. So y'all keep y'all citizens, and we'll all keep our money, because that's not a place I want to visit anyway. If the airplane has to hurry up and land before like anything, or we crash, or whatever the case may be, I don't know about it. I don't know what them boys talking about. But they say the altitude is very high, so let's keep watching this video.
A day to be in the country. This
a daily fee of 200, bro. So you're telling me if I'm there for 5 days, how much is that? That's damn near more than a band, bro. That's at least 1,800 probably. I don't know, bro. Y'all do quick math in the comment, but not tell me how much that is. If the daily fee is 200 and you were there for 1 week, then that's a lot of money, bro.
Operations and environmental protections. If the difficulty of getting into the nation of Bhutan isn't enough of a challenge, there's a place within the country that might be one of the hardest places to get into in the entire world. The Tiger's Nest, also known as Paro Taksang, is a Buddhist temple located 10,000 feet above sea level. The only way to get into the temple is by hiking up a treacherous mountain path and carefully shimmying your way along the rock walls as you look over the edge at the sheer drop of thousands of feet. You must then cross a rickety bridge over a sacred pool. Once on the other side, more dangerous hiking awaits before you reach stone steps carved into the mountain that ascend all the way to the temple. Traveling to the Tiger's Nest is not for the faint of heart, and anyone who attempts it needs to be in extremely good shape and proceed with caution. Although Bhutan might be an island in the mountains, there are actual islands so remote that traveling to them is next to impossible. Tristan da Cunha is the most remote inhabited island in the Atlantic Ocean. It sits 1,750 miles west of South Africa and 2,000 miles east of South America. The government does not actively impede people from coming to Tristan da Cunha, but there just aren't a lot of travel options to get there. In fact, the country's official website seems to want to deter people from visiting, as they state, there are no package tours for independent travelers, no hotels, no airport, no holiday reps, no nightclubs, no restaurants, no jet skis, nor safe sea swimming. And for an island where
so what do y'all have? Y'all just have life and death? Because if y'all don't have no hotels, no food, no nothing for tourists, like, why am I going there for? So if anybody decides to go there, that's dumb. But I'm not going anywhere that's like in the middle of this damn ocean where you have to probably swim off a little small boat. Like, no.
Traveling there can be incredibly expensive and time-consuming. There are no airports, so the only way to reach Tristan da Cunha is by ship. Unfortunately, there are only around 10 sailings to the island every year. If you're trying to travel to this remote part of the world, you also need to receive clearance from the island council, which can take 40 days or longer. Between getting permissions, finding a ship, going to the island, booking a place on the ship, and then finding a place to stay, traveling to Tristan da Cunha is next to impossible. The next island might be tropical with white sand beaches and plenty of ocean activities, but it's just as isolated as Tristan da Cunha. On the plus side, there is an airplane that flies to it. Kiribati sits almost directly in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Interestingly, the 30 atolls that make up this region of Micronesia cover around 1.4 million square miles, an area just over the size of India. Bonriki International Airport is on the island chain of Tarawa. The only way to get to the island is by flying from Fiji, so this makes for a very expensive trip. The price tag, plus the difficulty of finding flights, make Kiribati one of the hardest tropical islands to reach. Sadly, Tarawa and the rest of Kiribati might become impossible to visit soon. These islands are being consumed by the ocean as sea levels rise. In the knots...
Wow, sea level always rising because sea is not just in one level, you feel me? Over the years, it be building up, and building up. So that's why people say soon enough, Florida might even sink in, but that's probably within the next 40, 50 years, probably. Hey, we don't know, man, but hopefully, hey, by that time, bro, I learned how to swim, so I could, yeah. Even when you learn how to swim, y'all, swimming takes so much energy, bro. It's just like, wow. The amount of work that swimming takes, it's just like, I don't know if you're in the middle of the ocean, you're trying to swim to shore, you're just gonna say, fuck it, bro. That's it. Fuck it.
In future, Kiribati might need to be completely evacuated as storms wipe out the infrastructure of the country. Eventually, the entire nation will be underwater, at which point the only way to visit Kiribati will be by booking a scuba diving expedition. There is another island in the Pacific that's guarded by ancient gods sculpted from the fabric of the land. However, this does not mean it's easy to get to. Easter Island is known to the Polynesian cultures as Rapa Nui. There are over 900 statues called moai on the island that were carved from volcanic ash between 1400 and 1600 CE. Getting to the island can be difficult as only 2 flights go there each week. Travelers need to plan their entire trip around the plane schedule. Otherwise, they could be stuck there for quite some time. The
What is
planes
there
leave
to
from
do?
Chile and Tahiti, but aren't always guaranteed.
I wouldn't understand why people want to visit there, because what is even there to do? To experience a life and death situation? Because, yeah, but that's the only thing it seems like you're about to do on those islands. Unless you're like a native of the island, and which I'm pretty sure if you're a native of that island, you're going to have trace to the island. Like if you a native of that last island, you probably know how to swim, because that's the only way you probably get to the island. You know what I'm saying? But it's other islands like, bro, what am I going to do there? Ain't nothing to do there. So why am I going there?
To fly. Weather conditions or lack of passengers can both ground the aircrafts. Once on the island, there is no way off unless the planes are running. Technically, Easter Island is part of...
They talking about paying to go there. You gonna have to pay me to go there. Even if you paying me to go there too, it better be a good amount that'll cover like life insurance. Cause yeah, not to say that something gonna happen, but I just need to make sure I have enough if something did happen, so you know I could be safe.
However, it's located around 2,200 miles west of the Chilean coast in the Pacific Ocean. Many people end up traveling to Easter Island to see the magnificent statues and get a glimpse of what the ancient Polynesian culture that once inhabited the island was like. However, the trip is not the easiest to make unless you plan appropriately and are willing to spend a long time on airplanes. Oppressive regimes requiring travelers to be part of a tour group to visit their country seems to be the norm. Traveling solo is almost impossible if you plan on visiting this next country. Iran is currently categorized as a level 4 risk for travelers from the U.S. by the Department of State's Bureau of Consular Affairs. This means the U.S. government recommends not traveling there at all. Both the U.S. and Iranian governments will try to make visiting the other as difficult as possible for you. When Donald Trump was president and implemented the travel ban on Iranians into the U.S., Iran did the same for Americans. Iran is still rated as level 4 risk because of the likelihood of being kidnapped for ransom or arbitrary arrest and detention. And this doesn't just go for the United States. Many European countries and other nations have also implemented the same type of travel advisories. Therefore, if you're trying to plan a trip to Iran, you will still need to secure special permission and join an Iranian-sponsored tour group. That is, unless you have business with the oil companies there, then exceptions can be made. This next nation on our list probably won't...
I was gonna say no thank you, bro. I'm not going to no freaking place where the government of the U.S. put a level 4 risk. Like, no. The minute you go there, bro, it might not be no coming back. So it's like, why am I going there in the first place? There's other way other places that's better looking and probably good for tourists to go and visit than Iran or the other place that he listed. So like, why you going there?
Surprise you too much, as it's known as the Hermit Kingdom. North Korea is not the most welcoming country for many. In fact, citizens of some nations like South Korea or the United States are not allowed to visit except for some special circumstances. Like, for example, if you're the former NBA star Dennis Rodman and have become best friends with the supreme leader. The government controls everything in the country, including what is seen and not seen by visitors. If you somehow manage to secure passage into the country, you will not be allowed to explore on your own. All tourists must be accompanied by a guide provided by the North Korean government. You're not allowed to wander off, and you most certainly are not allowed to talk to anyone other than the people on the tour. The only flights into North Korea are from Beijing, so travelers must first secure a flight to China. Once there, you must secure a visa from the North Korean embassy before getting on a flight into the country. The embassy will have to conduct a thorough background check before granting your visa, which could take weeks or even months. And even if you secure all the necessary documentation, there is no guarantee you'll be allowed on the flight to North Korea. Things can change at a moment's notice. Getting into North Korea is incredibly difficult, but the scariest part is that getting out can be even harder. If a traveler is detained for any reason, it's highly unlikely they will be released unless strenuous negotiations take place between North Korean government and their home country. These can last for years, which means a vacation could quickly turn into a North Korean prison sentence.
Alright, imagine you go there just to visit and they accuse you of stealing something that you know you didn't even take. And what can you do? It's you against the whole damn population of North Korea. So it's like, bro, you lost your life.
Oh, it's probably best that it's difficult to enter the Hermit Kingdom. The only place that might be more dangerous than North Korea for tourists is this next location. North Sentinel Island sits off the coast of India in the Bay of Bengal. The only way to get to the island is by chartering a boat, but most captains will refuse your request. Even though North Sentinel Island is inhabited, there are no ferries or planes that go to the island, and the reason why will shock you. The island itself is surrounded by razor-sharp reefs that make approaching it difficult, but even more dangerous are the Sentinelese people living there. This might be one of the last uncontacted groups of people on the entire planet. They have had interactions with the outside world, but none of them were very pleasant. There are accounts of shipwrecked sailors in the past who were welcomed to the island, but took advantage of the situation. They abused the island's resources and people, which led to the Sentinelese running them off the island. However, not everyone made it off alive, and this would not be the only time that the inhabitants of North Sentinel Island killed visitors. If you could get to the island, you would be threatened the moment you stepped on shore. In 2011, it's believed that somewhere between 80 and 150 people were living on North Sentinel Island. However, these estimates might be low, and some think there are around 500 inhabitants on the island. Either way, when an American evangelical missionary named John Allen Chow stepped foot on North Sentinel Island to try to convert their population to Christianity, he was met with hostility. Chow was driven off the island twice by the Sentinelese. He returned a third time and wasn't so lucky. It's believed that the Sentinelese people killed John Allen Chow, as they did with the others who visited the island. North Sentinel Island is the only place in the world that is not only hard to get to, but the inhabitants will actively threaten and even kill you.
Man, that little island probably got a population of probably 200 people. So if they bring a whole army over there, bro, they'll gladly take over that island, bro. Like, it look like it's a population of 0 people, really. Cause we never heard of that. I ain't heard of that place, you feel me? I ain't heard of that place before, so population might be really low. Maybe 0 is a little exaggerating, but I'd say a good, like he said 50 to 80 people. It's probably less now, because we're in 2024, you feel me? And if nobody's, unless they having babies over there or something like that. But, hey, man, just bring an army and you will take over the island.
This is why it may be the most difficult place to travel to on the entire planet. Other parts of the world are just as difficult to get to as North Sentinel Island, but you don't have to worry about the people living there trying to murder you. Take Machu Picchu, for instance. This ancient Inca settlement high in the Andes Mountains of Peru is a bucket list destination for many. However, most people go their whole lives without ever setting foot within its crumbling walls. There are a couple of reasons Machu Picchu is so difficult to visit. The main one is there is a limit to the number of people who can see the site each day. This is because every tourist who steps foot on the ancient ruins is inadvertently destroying them. The Peruvian government and UNESCO restrict the number of visitors to Machu Picchu to around 2,500 per day. but only 500 people can be on the Inca Trail at any given time to protect its integrity. The hike to the ruins is around 26 miles, and many people suffer from altitude sickness as they make their ascent to the ruins. This makes Machu Picchu incredibly difficult to reach if you're not in decent shape and don't have a good guide. There's a train that goes up to the ruins, but that's expensive, and no matter how you get there, you have to be one of the 2,500 people with special permission to see the ancient site that day. Now, there's a place in Arizona that makes Machu Picchu's daily permit count seem immense. The Wave is a sandstone rock formation that literally looks like a wave. However, only a select few ever get the opportunity to walk through this natural wonder. The Bureau of Land Management only gives out 20 permits a day. Getting to the wave is a little difficult as the roads to the trailhead are not paved, and bad weather can quickly make them impassable. But it's not the location or even the 6.2-mile hike that makes the wave one of the most difficult places to visit. It's winning the lottery system to secure a reservation that keeps most tourists from visiting the spot. The Lost City in Colombia, on the other hand, might be the most difficult trek you can take to reach a destination. There is no limit to the number of people who can visit the site each year, but its remoteness and the brutal landscape of the Amazon jungle keeps tourists out. Ciudad Perdida, or the Lost City, rises out of the jungles of Colombia and takes 3 to 6 days to reach by hiking. This is the only way to reach
3 to 6 days, bro? I know. There's no black people taking that 3 to 6 day hike at all, bro. It has to be some type of, I don't know. I don't see myself personally taking a 3 to 6 days just to get somewhere, bro. Why am I'm supposed to be on vacation. So if I'm on vacation trying to go on the island, why am I walking for 3 to 6 days?
Because there are no roads, and it sits too deep in the jungle to allow planes or helicopters to land. The Lost City was built around 800 CE by the Tairona people. The hike itself is incredibly difficult as the path that leads to it winds through some of the densest rainforests in the entire world. At any point throughout the year, constant downpours can wash out the path and cause it to become impassable. If all goes according to plan, the weather will hold up, but there are still a plethora of poisonous snakes, spiders, and other animals that could...
That's all you had to tell me right there. Poisonous snakes. I'm not doing that at all, bro. I don't mess with snakes, bro. Come on, bro. I don't know how people mess with snakes, but I can't do it. I can't do it. It's mostly like the people that be the animal lovers, but they special. I don't know, cause I don't see myself playing around with no damn animals, right?
Along the way. Even after reaching Ciudad Perdida, you need to make the return trip to civilization. This is just as difficult, if not more difficult, than the journey there, as you'll be exhausted. Very few people make the trip to the Lost City, and it would be impossible to get there without a guide. The environment and remoteness of the site make it one of the most difficult places to travel to in the world. If you thought it was hard to get to the previous locations, you haven't seen anything yet. The next few places are so difficult to get to that only a handful of people can say they've successfully managed to visit them. Bear Island sits 400 miles off the northern coast of Europe at the edge of the Arctic. The only way to get to the island is by hitching a ride aboard a Norwegian Polar Institute vessel or by chartering a boat. But since the island is in a remote area of the northern Atlantic, this can be incredibly hard to do and very expensive. However, if you are able to secure passage to the island, you won't be able to stay very long. Bear Island is a natural reserve that has almost no precipitation and is surrounded by rocky cliffs. On top of that, many tourists are deterred from visiting the island as there's a nuclear submarine wreck nearby that's at risk of leaking radioactive material into the surrounding water. Traveling to a barren island in the Arctic is difficult, but getting to one of the most isolated islands in the Antarctic is even harder.
Bouvet? Bouvet sound like a government-ass island, bro. Especially as in Antarctica, bro. Nobody could go over there if you're not the government.
About 1,000 miles from Antarctica. It's uninhabited due to its sheer remoteness and difficulty to get to. The entire island is almost completely covered by a glacier year-round, and in the winter, the waters around the island are shielded by pack ice. This makes...
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro. Because imagine Antarctica. When you ride a boat to Antarctica, bro, I feel like the fog itself won't show you where these boulders are at. And just in general, it's freezing, bro. It's freezing over there. So why would I, you know what I'm saying, go over there?
Almost impossible to reach. And even if you do make it to the island, there is no practical way of actually getting onto it to explore the landscape. Bouvet Island is also a natural preserve that is under the watch of the Norwegian government. If you want to investigate the island, you need to have a good reason, which is cleared by the Norwegian officials, Otherwise, you could be detained as your boat approaches Bouvet. If you manage to secure permission, the best way to get on the island would be to board a research vessel and endure a long, perilous journey. Once within distance, you would need to fly aboard a helicopter that would drop you off on top of the Bering Glacier. There isn't much to do other than conduct studies of the Antarctic climate and its geological processes. It would be an expensive and dangerous vacation just to stand on top of a lot of snow and ice. That's why only a handful of people have ever been on Bouvet Island, and this doesn't seem like it'll be changing anytime soon. This next place isn't as remote as the other islands, but it's rarely visited for one particular reason. Moray Island is about 60 miles from the mainland of Scotland. The island itself looks beautiful from afar, but as you approach, you quickly realize that any ambitions to step foot on that island could cost you your life. Moray is a Scottish World Heritage Site, meaning that even if you could get to the island, you would need special permission from the Scottish government to visit it. These requests are almost always denied, to not only preserve the island, but people's safety. It's the jagged shoreline and intense swell that makes landing on Moray so difficult. Even if you are able to secure permission to step foot on the island, you might be waiting for days or even weeks for the sea and weather to cooperate. Boats that get too close to Moray when the conditions aren't right find themselves smashed into the side of the sharp rocks that make up the coastline and sinking to the bottom of the Atlantic. It's estimated that more people have summited Mount Everest than have reached Moray Island since the 1950s. This just puts into perspective how difficult the remote island is to visit. Now watch, these countries are impossible to invade. Or check out what Americans really think of other countries.
That is crazy, y'all. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in to the reaction, man. If y'all made this far, don't forget to smash that thumbs up, share the video, and subscribe for more reactions like this one. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next reaction. Peace.